Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Daisy, your hostess. In this video, we're moving on to the next chapter of the book titled The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Before I get started and I turn the page, a couple things I want to say. Number one, welcome. And if you're new and you just found me at this video, well, I'm glad you found me. And if you want to catch up with the previous chapters, please do visit my book playlist and you'll access them there and other books as well. And to you who've been here with me and have subscribed to the channel, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you like this book. I'm enjoying it very much, very much. The other thing I wanted to say, I want to talk a little bit about the previous chapter. It was titled Your Subconscious and the Wonders of Sleep. Ever feel like you're not getting enough sleep? Well, let me tell you, we need our sleep. Joseph Murphy says sleep is a divine law, and many answers to our problems come to us when we sleep. And I want to share, before I do go into some of the meat and potatoes of what Dr. Joseph Murphy talked about, there are some recent scientific studies from Harvard, and they reveal that have you ever heard the saying, sleep on it? Things will look better in the morning. Dr. Robert Stickold, who's a professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School, says we solve all our problems while we sleep. Well, that's what he says. And maybe you might agree. I'm going to tell you one thing. I actually keep my dream journal, and I'm very surprised. Sometimes it looks like alphabet soup, but then other things just make so much sense, as convoluted as the dream may be. And then when I go back to it, and I do dream analysis, by the way, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I do offer a chance to chat up and talk about your dreams and how it relates to whatever issues you may have. So if you are interested in a dream interpretation, do visit my website at fortuneforecast.com and order a time slot with me. I'll mention more about Dr. Stickold's findings, which were not very far off with some of the information offered by others, researchers and doctors in this previous chapter mentioned by Dr. Joseph Murphy, such as, this person named John Bigelow. He was a famous research authority on sleep, and he was saying that he was able to demonstrate that at night, while asleep, we actually receive impressions. Then that proved that we are just as active in our sleep. Not quite the same way as we are when we're awake, but we are not just in total sleep. We're not like a log. There are a lot of activities going on. Now, fast forward to the future with Dr. Stickold from Harvard University. He was saying that at night, while we're asleep, we are making connections so that when we wake up, we can have a better understanding of what maybe yesterday, or maybe not just yesterday, could have been something from a week ago. Now all of a sudden in sleep, we're beginning to make sense of what before was really disturbing us, or we couldn't understand, or we couldn't process in the same way. Now this is what's interesting. He adds here that it seems like the brain is saying, I think I can help you. Now what happens is that, without getting into the weeds of all the science behind this, in a nutshell, he says that the prefrontal cortex, which actually handles all the executive decisions that we make, actually shuts down, as well as maybe he wrote down here, neuromodulators and serotonin. They also kind of get turned off. Then he says that when we go into REM, he says that the big brain all of a sudden begins navigating and going through all the data that it has, because now it has free reign to just, I guess, go through all the cabinets, right? And then he says that also with the help, and this is done scientifically, with the help of the norepinephrines, they help to focus on immediate problems. So it says here that now it's almost like the brain is saying, do you really want to know why this problem is happening? Do you really want to know if this legal thing is really going to affect you? Do you really need this job? And so all these questions that you really couldn't have answers to, now the brain begins to sort things out based on all the input that it has. Probably not only input that you consciously have, but also things that you were not aware that you were picking up. One of the things that I do, I just something that I do normally, and I don't know if that was from training as a police officer, where you just start looking at everything and you make it a habit to say, okay, well, there's 6 people here, 3 are this tall, wearing a red shirt, there's a tattoo over here, the sun was down this much, that tree was halfway chopped up. So and I don't know if it's something that stayed with me from being a deputy sheriff, or it's just something that I began just enhancing because of it, but it's something that I actually do. Sometimes I'll do it consciously, and I'm like, and I'll look at just things, and I just focus on it and then forget about it. And I find that later on, when I'm not even looking for that information, it's just there. I can pull it up. And I've heard that we do that. We can do that. We're not even aware, but when sometimes they'll put you under some type of trance, all of a sudden you can describe everything that you couldn't describe with your waking state. Interesting. Anyway, the gist of the whole thing is that, according to Dr. Stiggold, we can have all these ideas can come to us in a way that when we were seeing the problem, when we were, knee deep into the problem, we couldn't see it, or we had this tunnel vision. All of a sudden now, answers to these problems are available during the sleep stage. And it could be coming in through a dream. And that's what Dr. Joseph Murphy mentions about the dream stage, and also about getting these impressions. But Dr. Stiggold from the Harvard University suggests, keep a notebook, so that if you have a problem and you intentionally tell your brain, I am now open to receive the answers to these problems, kind of like what Tesla was doing, and blend these concepts together. Some of what Tesla was saying, some of what Dr. Murphy's suggesting, maybe some of what Dr. Stiggold is suggesting, and then bring it all together, make it work for you, and you might find and get some interesting results. But that's what they're suggesting, that the answers will come, and magically you'll be like, wow, why didn't I see that before, right? And he actually says, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but he says, that the time that you're sleeping will be productive because your other brain will have the answer for you. I've added 3 links in the description of this video, so please do, if you get a chance, look at them. One is the link about Tesla. The other one is the topic with Dr. Stiggold from Harvard University. And then this other one is a pure gift, and it's titled The Philosophy of Sleep by Swami Sivananda. Now, it's well worth read, even though some of the words that are used in there may be Sanskrit. But the reason that they use Sanskrit is because the Hindus, it's because the truth is, any other way, that any other English word or English words combination would take away the essence of the true meaning of what that one word is. So it might take a little time if you find the word and then you Google, so you can get the full gist and understanding of it. But I just found this particular way that they describe it so beautiful and appropriate to share with you in this chapter. And it says here, I want to just share with you, he says it's in 2 different parts. It says here, sleep is more refreshing at night because there are no disturbing sounds, and that the mind is much fatigued because of the activities during the day, and that night is nature's way, or it's nature's time for sleep, and saying that day is meant for activity. And he says that when we are in tune with nature's law, we are happy and healthy. And he adds that violation of nature's laws have disastrous results. Maybe not right now, but maybe long term. And I could tell you that for the most part of the years as I worked as a deputy sheriff, I used to do the midnight shift, and it does take a toll. I mean, your whole biorhythms are off, eating, sleeping, almost everything. And it's important to find balance, and it does affect you. So just saying that. I mean, I added another link which talks a little bit more about the mind and the subconscious mind and dream and sleep and all this. It's just really beautiful. And it's described like this: when the mind enters the Hita Nadi, which proceeds from the heart and surrounds the great membrane around the heart, the individual soul, or jiva, experiences the state of dream. In the dream state, the senses are quiet and absorbed in the mind. Mind alone plays during dream. That's so beautiful. mind alone plays during dream. And then when we're consciously awake, if you keep a dream journal, you could actually have an incredible relationship with yourself and what happens in that beautiful, fluid, surreal state. Before I go on to the chapter, it reminded me of this poem by Chuang-Tzu. And it goes like this, and I'm going to read it. Once upon a time, I, Chuang-Tzu, dreamt I was a butterfly, fluttering hither and thither to all intents and purpose. A butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was true. Soon I awakened, and there I was, veritably myself again. Now I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a man. I'm wondering, are we in a dream? Well, with that, let's turn the page. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Chapter 14. Your Subconscious Mind and Marital Problems. Ignorance of the functions and powers of the mind is the cause of all marital trouble. Friction between husband and wife can be solved by each using the law of mind correctly. By praying together, they stay together. The contemplation of divine ideals, the study of the laws of life, the mutual agreement on a common purpose and plan, and the enjoyment of personal freedom bring about the harmonious marriage, that wedded bliss, that sense of oneness where the two become one. The best time to prevent divorce is before marriage. It is not wrong to try to get out of a very bad situation, but why get into the bad situation in the first place? Would it not be better to give attention to the real cause of marital problems? In other words, to really get at the root of the matter involved? As with all other problems of men and women, the problems of divorce, separation, and annulment and endless litigation are directly traceable to lack of knowledge of the working and interrelationship of the conscious and subconscious mind. The meaning of marriage. Marriage, to be real, must first be on a spiritual basis. It must be of the heart, and the heart is the chalice of love. Honesty, sincerity, kindness, and integrity are also forms of love. Each partner should be perfectly honest and sincere with the other. It is not a true marriage when a man marries a woman for her money, social position, or to lift his ego, because this indicates a lack of sincerity, honesty, and true love. Such a marriage is a farce, a sham, and a masquerade. When a woman says, "I am tired working, I want to get married because I want security," her premise is false. She is not using the laws of mind correctly. Her security depends upon her knowledge of the interaction of the conscious and subconscious mind and its application. For example, a woman will never lack for wealth or health if she applies the techniques outlined in the respective chapters of this book. Her wealth can come to her independent of her husband, father, or anyone else. A woman is not dependent on her husband for health, peace, joy, inspiration, guidance, love, wealth, security, happiness, or anything in the world. Her security and peace of mind come from her knowledge of the inner powers within her and from the constant use of the laws of her own mind in a constructive fashion. How to attract the ideal husband. You are now acquainted with the way your subconscious mind works. You know that whatever you impress upon it will be experienced in your world. Begin now to impress your subconscious mind with the qualities and characteristics you desire in a man. The following is an excellent technique. Sit down at night in your armchair, close your eyes, let go, relax the body, become very quiet, passive, and receptive. Talk to your subconscious mind and say to it, "I am now attracting a man into my experience who is honest, sincere, loyal, faithful, peaceful, happy, and prosperous. These qualities which I admire are sinking down into my subconscious mind now. As I dwell upon these characteristics, they become a part of me and are embodied subconsciously. I know there is an irresistible law of attraction and that I attract to me a man according to my subconscious belief. I attract that which I feel to be true in my subconscious mind. I know I can contribute to his peace and happiness. He loves my ideals, and I love his ideals. He does not want to make me over, neither do I want to make him over. There is a mutual love, freedom, and respect. Practice this process of impregnating your subconscious mind. Then you will have the joy of attracting to you a man possessing the qualities and characteristics you mentally dwelt on. Your subconscious intelligence will open up a pathway whereby both of you will meet according to the irresistible and changeless flow of your own subconscious mind. Have a keen desire to give the best that is in you of love, devotion, and cooperation. Be receptive to his gift of love, which you have given to your subconscious mind. How to attract the ideal wife. Affirms as follows. I now attract the right woman who is complete accord with me. This is a spiritual union because it is divine love functioning through the personality of someone with whom I blend perfectly. I know I can give to this woman love, light, peace, and joy. I feel and believe I can make this woman's life full, complete, and wonderful. I now decree that she possesses the following qualities and attributes. She is spiritual, loyal, faithful, and true. She is harmonious, peaceful, and happy. We are irresistibly attracted to each other. Only that which belongs to love, truth, and beauty can enter my experience. I accept my ideal companion now. As you think quietly and with interest on the qualities and attributes which you admire in the companion you seek, you will build the mental equivalent into your mentality. Then, the deeper currents of your subconscious mind will bring both of you together in divine order. No need for a third mistake. Recently, a teacher said to me, I have had 3 husbands and all 3 have been passive, submissive, and dependent on me to make all decisions and govern everything. Why do I attract such type men? I asked her whether she had known that her second husband was the effeminate type, and she replied, Of course not. Had I known, I would have not married him. Apparently, she had not learned anything from the first mistake. The trouble was with her own personality makeup. She was very masculine, domineering, and unconsciously wanted someone who would be submissive and passive so that she could play the dominant role. All this was unconscious motivation, and her subconscious picture attracted to her what she subjectively wanted. She had to learn to break the pattern by adopting the right prayer process. How she broke the negative pattern. The above-mentioned woman learned a simple truth. When you believe you can have the type of man you idealize, it is done unto you as you believe. The following is the specific prayer she used to break the old subconscious pattern and attract to her the ideal mate. I am building into my mentality the type of man I deeply desire. The man I attract for a husband is strong, powerful, loving, very masculine, successful, honest, loyal, and faithful. He finds love and happiness with me. I love to follow where he leads. I know he wants me, and I want him. I am honest, sincere, loving, and kind. I have wonderful gifts to offer him. They are goodwill, a joyous heart, and a healthy body. He offers me the same. It is mutual. I give and I receive. Divine intelligence knows where this man is, and the deeper wisdom of my subconscious mind is now bringing both of us together in its own way, and we recognize each other immediately. I release this request to my subconscious mind, which knows how to bring my request to pass. I give thanks for the perfect answer. She prayed in the above manner night and morning, affirming these truths and knowing that through frequent occupation of the mind, she would reach the mental equivalent of that which she sought. The answer to her prayer. Several months went by. She had a great number of dates and social engagements, none of which was agreeable to her. When she was about to question, waver, doubt, and vacillate, she reminded herself that the infinite intelligence was bringing it to pass in its own way, and that there was nothing to be concerned about. Her final decree in her divorce proceedings was granted, which brought her a great sense of release and mental freedom. Shortly afterward, she went to work as a receptionist in a doctor's office. She told me that the minute she saw the physician, she knew he was the man she was praying about. Apparently, he knew it too, because he proposed to her the first week she was in the office, and their subsequent marriage was ideally happy. This physician was not the passive or submissive type, but was a real man, a former football player, an outstanding athlete, and was a deeply spiritual man, though he was completely devoid of any sectarian or denominational affiliation. She got what she prayed for because she claimed it mentally until she reached the point of saturation. In other words, she mentally and emotionally united with her idea, and it became a part of her in the same way that an apple becomes a part of her bloodstream. Should I get divorced? Divorce is an individual problem. It cannot be generalized. In some cases, of course, there never should have been a marriage. In some cases, divorce is not the solution, no more so than marriage is the solution for a lonely man. Divorce may be right for one person and wrong for another. A divorced woman may be far more sincere and noble than many of her married sisters who perhaps are living a lie. For example, I once talked with a woman whose husband was a dope fiend, an ex-convict, a wife-beater, and a non-provider. She had been told it was wrong to get a divorce. I explained to her that marriage is of the heart. If two hearts blend harmoniously, lovingly, and sincerely, that is the ideal marriage. The pure action of the heart is love. Following this explanation, she knew what to do. She knew in her heart that there is no divine law which compelled her to be browbeaten, intimidated, and beaten because someone said, "I pronounce you man and wife." If you are in doubt as to what to do, ask for guidance, knowing that there is always an answer, and you will receive it. Follow the lead that comes to you in the silence of your soul. It speaks to you in peace. Drifting into divorce. Recently, a young couple, married for only a few months, were seeking a divorce. I discovered that the young man had a constant fear that his wife would leave him. He expected rejection, and he believed that she would be unfaithful. These thoughts haunted his mind and became an obsession with him. His mental attitude was one of separation and suspicion. She felt unresponsive to him. It was his own feeling or atmosphere of loss and separation operating through them. This brought about a condition or action in accordance with the mental pattern behind it. There is a law of action and reaction, or cause and effect. The thought is the action, and the response of the subconscious mind is the reaction. His wife left home and asked for a divorce, which is what he feared and believed she would do. Divorce begins in the mind. Divorce takes place first in the mind. The legal proceedings follow after. These two young people were full of resentment, fear, suspicion, and anger. These attitudes weaken, exhaust, and debilitate the whole being. They learned that hate divides and that love unites. They began to realize what they had been doing with their minds. Neither one of them knew the law of mental action, and they were misusing their minds and bringing on chaos and misery. These two people went back together at my suggestion and experimented with prayer therapy. They began to radiate love, peace, and goodwill to each other. Each one practiced radiating harmony, health, peace, and love to the other, and they alternated in the reading of the Psalms every night. Their marriage is growing more beautiful every day. The nagging wife. Many times the reason the wife nags is because she gets no attention. Oftentimes it's a craving for love and affection. Give your wife attention and show your appreciation. Praise and exalt all her many good points. There's also the nagging type of woman who wants to make the man conform to her particular pattern. This is about the quickest way in the world to get rid of a man. The wife and the husband must cease being scavengers, always looking for the petty faults or errors in each other. Let each give attention and praise to the constructive and wonderful qualities of the other. The brooding husband. If a man begins to brood, grows morbid against his wife because of the things she said or did, he is, psychologically speaking, committing adultery. One of the meanings of adultery is idolatry, giving attention to or uniting mentally with that which is negative and destructive. When a man is silently resenting his wife and is full of hostility toward her, he is unfaithful. He is not faithful to his marriage vows, which are to love, cherish, and honor her all the days of his life. The man who is brooding, bitter, and resentful can swallow his sharp remarks, abate his anger, and he can go to great lengths to be considerate, kind, and courteous. He can deftly skirt the differences. Through praise and mental effort, he can get out of the habit of antagonism. Then, he will be able to get along better, not only with his wife, but with business associates also. Assume the harmonious state, and eventually you will find peace and harmony. The great mistake. A great mistake is to discuss your marital problems or difficulties with neighbors and relatives. Suppose, for example, a wife says to the neighbor, "John never gives me any money. He treats my mother abominably, drinks to excess, and is constantly abusive and insulting." Now, this wife is degrading and belittling her husband in the eyes of all the neighbors and relatives. He no longer appears as the ideal husband to them. Never discuss your marital problems with anyone except a trained counselor. Why cause numerous people to think negatively of your marriage? Moreover, as you discuss and dwell upon these shortcomings of your husband, you are actually creating these states within yourself. Who is thinking and feeling it? You are. As you think and feel, so are you. Relatives will usually give you the wrong advice. It is usually biased and prejudiced because it is not given in an impersonal way. Any advice you receive which violates the golden rule, which is a cosmic law, is not good or sound. It is well to remember that no two human beings ever lived beneath the same roof without clashes of temperament, periods of hurts and strain. Never display the unhappy side of your marriage to your friends. Keep your quarrels to yourself. Refrain from criticism and condemnation of your partner. Don't try to make your wife over. A husband must not try to make his wife over into a second edition of himself. The tactless attempt to change her in many ways is foreign to her nature. These attempts are always foolish and many times result in a dissolution of marriage. These attempts to alter her destroy her pride and self-esteem and arouse a spirit of contrariness and resentment that proves fatal to the marriage bond. Adjustments are needed, of course, but if you have a good look inside your own mind and study your character and behavior, you will find so many shortcomings. They will keep you busy the rest of your life. If you say, "I will make him over into what I want," you're looking for trouble and the divorce court. You're asking for misery. You will have to learn the hard way that there is no one to change but yourself. Pray together and stay together through steps in prayer. The first step. Never carry over from one day to another accumulated irritations arising from little disappointments. Be sure to forgive each other for any sharpness before you retire at night. The moment you awaken in the morning, claim infinite intelligence is guiding you in all your ways. Send out loving thoughts of peace, harmony, and love to your marriage partner, to all members of the family, and to the whole world. The second step. Say grace at breakfast. Give thanks for the wonderful food, for your abundance, and for all your blessings. Make sure that no problems, worries, or arguments shall enter into the table conversation. The same applies at dinner time. Say to your wife or husband, "I appreciate all you are doing, and I radiate love and goodwill to you all day long." The third step. The husband and wife should alternate in praying each night. Do not take your marriage partner for granted. Show your appreciation and love. Think appreciation and goodwill, rather than condemnation, criticism, and nagging. The way to build a peaceful home and a happy marriage is to use a foundation of love, beauty, harmony, mutual respect, faith in God, and all things good. Read the 23rd, 27th, and 91st Psalms, the 11th chapter of Hebrews, the 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians, and other great texts of the Bible before going to sleep. As you practice these truths, your marriage will grow more and more blessed through the years. Review your actions. 1. Ignorance of mental and spiritual laws is the cause of all marital unhappiness. By praying scientifically together, you stay together. 2. The best time to prevent divorce is before marriage. If you learn how to pray in the right way, you will attract the right mate for you. 3. Marriage is the union of a man and a woman who are bound together by love. Their hearts beat as one, and they move onward, upward, and Godward. 4. Marriage does not bequeath happiness. People find happiness by dwelling on the eternal truths of God and spiritual values of life. Then, the man and woman can contribute to each other's happiness and joy. 5. You attract the right mate by dwelling on the qualities and characteristics you admire in a woman or a man, and then your subconscious mind will bring you together in divine order. 6. You must build into your mentality the mental equivalent of what you want in a marriage partner. If you want to attract an honest, sincere, and loving partner in life, you must be honest, sincere, and loving yourself. 7. You do not have to repeat mistakes in marriage. When you really believe you can have the type man or woman you idealize, it is done unto you as you believe. To believe is to accept something as true. Accept your ideal companion now mentally. 8. Do not wonder how, why, or where you will meet the mate you are praying for. Trust implicitly the wisdom of your subconscious mind. It has the know-how, and you don't have to assist it. 9. You are mentally divorced when you indulge in peeves, grudges, ill will, and hostility toward your marriage partner. You are mentally dwelling with error in the bed of your mind. Adhere to your marriage vows. I promise to cherish, love, and honor him or her all the days of my life. 10. Cease projecting fear patterns to your marriage partner. Project love, peace, harmony, and goodwill, and your marriage will grow more beautiful and more wonderful through the years. 11. Radiate love, peace, and goodwill to each other. These vibrations are picked up by the subconscious mind, resulting in mutual trust, affection, and respect. 12. A nagging wife is usually seeking attention and appreciation. She is craving for love and affection. Praise and exalt her many good points. Show her that you love her and appreciate her. 13. A man who loves his wife does not do anything unloving or unkind in word, manner, or action. Love is what love does. 14. In marital problems, always seek expert advice. You would not go to a carpenter to pull a tooth. Neither should you discuss your marriage problems with relatives or friends. You should go to a trained person for counsel. 15. Never try to make your wife or husband over. These attempts are always foolish and tend to destroy the pride and self-esteem of the other. Moreover, it arouses a spirit of resentment that proves fatal to the marriage bond. Cease trying to make the other a second edition of yourself. 16. Pray together and you will stay together. Scientific prayer solves all problems. Mentally picture your wife as she ought to be, joyous, happy, healthy, and beautiful. See your husband as he ought to be, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and kind. Maintain this mental picture, and you will experience the marriage made in heaven, which is harmony and peace. End of chapter. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's head over to the next video as we continue on with the book titled The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy.